and slavery and the Constitution. Is the Constitution racist and immoral? The question that critics of the Constitution lead with is the question, why didn't the founders immediately abolish slavery when they ratified the Constitution? But this is the wrong question. The right question to ask, the fair question to ask is, why did the founders establish a new self-governing regime on the idea that all men are created equal in terms of their natural rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? No people, anywhere, had ever attempted what was attempted in America in 1776. Not in Europe, not in Africa, nowhere among the Greeks, nowhere among the Romans, nowhere in all of Western Christendom had anyone tried to establish a self-governing constitutional republic combining justice with the consent of the governed, all based on devotion to the principle that all men are created equal. No one had ever done that before. Many people argue, well, when Thomas Jefferson wrote that famous document, the Declaration of Independence, he didn't really mean to include blacks and slaves. When he said, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, he didn't actually include African blacks. But in the very same document he wrote this, the very first draft of his declaration. You recall from civics class, when you were studying the Declaration, the middle part of the Declaration is this long list of charges against the king. The longest charge against the king was for his protection of the institution of slavery. And here's what the author of the Declaration said in his own words in that document. He, meaning King George III, has waged cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life and liberty in the persons of a distant people who never offended him. Those Africans had done nothing to injure King George III. Yet he is determined to keep open a market where men should be bought and sold as if they're property. So what were those African slaves, according to the author of the Declaration of Independence? They were men. And those capital letters, by the way, M-E-N, those are Jefferson's original. He capitalized those letters. So when he says, oops, can I go back? Let's see. Nope, maybe I can't. When he says in that very famous second paragraph, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Does he mean to include African black slaves? Absolutely, without a question. When you go back and read the literature of the founding, what is so striking, what goes against the grain of virtually every history textbook in America, is the fact that every one of the leading lights of the founders had something to say about slavery, and they all said the same thing. It's wrong, and we need to get rid of it as soon as we can. I've given you just